Welcome to the very first rebuild of Football Manager 2026, and we're starting with Wolves. Now, the reason I've chosen Wolves is pretty simple. Things are not looking good for them in real life. No wins in the last 9 Premier League games, just 2 draws and 7 defeats. The confidence is gone, the balance isn't there, and the fans are starting to lose patience. So I'm stepping in to fix it. This is going to be a 5-year rebuild, new tactics, new signings, and a new identity for the club. The goal is to get Wolves back to where they belong, competing for Europe again. Let's start with the tactic. When we're in possession, we're going for a progressive 3-4-3 system. A solid back three gives us stability, with wing-backs pushing high to stretch and play. In midfield, we've got an advanced playmaker linking up with a box-to-box type, giving us both creativity and work rate. The inside forwards tuck in to support the striker, who leads the line as a complete forward, completing the attack fluid and unpredictable. Out of possession, we switch to a compact 5-2-2-1. The wing-backs drop deep, the midfield holds shape, and the front three personality to force teams wide. It's all about discipline, structure, and smart pressing, building from defensive organisation into fast, clinical counter-attacks. This setup gives us the balance Wolves have been missing, solid at the back but still dangerous going forward. In goal, Jose Sarr remains our number 1, experienced, consistent and great with the ball at his feet. Sam Johnson adds solid backup and competition. Defensively, Ladislav Kaletsky looks like a brilliant piece of business. Left-footed, composed and physically strong, Totti Gomez continues to be one of the most reliable players in the squad, while Kia Yanahova gives us pace, versatility on the right. On the left, Hugo Bruno is developing nicely, still young but full of potential and energy. In midfield, João Gomez and Andre are a heartbeat, relentless, aggressive and technically sound. Marshall Muncy adds experience and defensive skill, perfect for those tighter games. We also got Rodrigo Gomez, a creative option who could thrive in the right setup. Moving forward, John Analyse looks like a real danger man, quick, clever and unpredictable. He'll be key to unlocking defences this season. Wang Lee Chan offers great versatility across the front line, and Jean-Ricard Bellegarde adds drive from midfield. And up top, Jorg Strand Larsen looks built for the role. Tall, powerful and clinical, he's our main man. Keep an eye on Mateus Main too. Just 17, but there's real potential there for the future. Overall, it's a strong group, not perfect, but there's definitely a foundation to build something special here. There's one big twist for this season. The summer transfer window is disabled. No new signings, no sales. We're working entirely with what we've got until January. And honestly, I don't mind that. It forces us to get the best out of this squad, build chemistry, and properly assess who fits the long-term plan. It also adds a bit of realism. Wolves have had to grind through tough patches before, and this gives the rebuild the authentic back against the wall feel. So for the first half of the season, it's all about coaching, tactics and player development. Once January hits, that's when we'll start shaping the future. Let's talk about how we've started. We opened with a tough test against Manchester City, and despite a 2-1 defeat, there were plenty of positives. John Aris got on the score sheet and we actually matched them for long spells. Then we responded perfectly with a 2-0 win at Bournemouth thanks to João Gomez and Hang Lee Chan. We did suffer a 2-0 defeat in the EFL Cup against Sheffield United, but bounced straight back with a 3-1 win over Everton. John Aris on fire again, plus a goal from Totti Gomez. So after 3 league games, we're sitting 5th in the Premier League. 2 wins, 1 defeat, and we're already showing signs of real progress. The morale's good, the tactics are clicking, and the fans are starting to believe again. So with everything set up, the tactics in place, the team's performing well, and the first transfer window is closed, it's time to find out how this first season really goes. I'm going to simulate through to the end of the season to see how we finish, how the squad develops and whether this rebuild is heading in the right direction. Can we keep pushing towards the top half, maybe even sneak into Europe? Let's find out. It's time to simulate to the end of season 1 of our Wolves rebuild. We kicked off the simulation at the start of September, and right away you could see the difference. After a shaky start in August, Wolves started to click. A 1-0 win away at Newcastle got things moving, followed by a battling 2-2 draw against Leeds. But the highlight of the month came away at Tottenham, a massive 2-1 win that sent a statement to the rest of the league. Jurgen Strand Larsen was starting to find form, and we climbed into the top 4 for the first time this season. October continued that momentum. We picked up a brilliant 2-1 home win over Brighton, a 2-1 away victory at Sunderland, and fought hard for a 0-0 draw with Burnley to keep our unbeaten run alive. At this point, Wolves were sitting second in the Premier League, from a side expected to struggle to genuine top 4 contenders in just a couple of months. Confidence was growing and belief was back at Molineux. November brought another strong spell. A 2-1 win at Fulham, a point against Chelsea, and a huge 4-2 home victory over Crystal Palace, with Jurgen Strand Larsen bagging a hat-trick. We did lose narrowly to Aston Villa, but by the end of the month, Wolves were still third in the table, right behind Man City and Villa. The rebuild was already taking shape. December was pure chaos. 60 games and some massive results. We started with a 1-0 win over Nottingham Forest, and followed that with a 3-1 win against Manchester United. Arsenal and Liverpool gave us tough defeats, but we bounced back with victories against Brentford and Manchester United again to close out the month. Halfway through the season, Wolves were still in the top 3, matching Liverpool and Arsenal stride for stride. Incredible progress. January brought the transfer window, and we didn't hold back. Coming in were Matthias Krankard from RB Salzburg, Christian from Gazero, Edward Spurtzan, Ryan from Vasco da Gama, and Ali Dembele from Torino. We also picked up Thiago Fernandez on a free. Leaving the club were João Gomez and Andre, both joining Al Hilal for a combined 90 million. 2 big sales that funded the rebuild. On the pitch, the new signings hit the ground running. We beat West Ham 3-1, Newcastle 1-0, and Bournemouth 4-0. Wolves ended January sitting third, just 3 points behind Arsenal and Liverpool. A perfect start to the new year. February was mixed. We lost to Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, but bounced back in the FA Cup with a solid 2-0 win over Bristol Rovers, and followed that up with a 3-1 away win at Crystal Palace. Johan Arias backed a hat-trick that day, arguably his best performance of the season. Despite a late loss to Aston Villa, Wolves stayed third, holding firm in the top 4 with just a few months to go. March started with a thriller at Molineux. We pushed Liverpool all the way but fell 3-2 despite another brace from Strand Larsen. We then smashed Blackpool 4-1 in the FA Cup with new signing Ryan on the scoresheet. A tough away defeat to Brentford had followed, but we ended strong with a 2-2 draw against Arsenal. Wolves sat fourth, right on Aston Villa's tail, heading into the business end of the season. April started with heartbreak. A 5-1 FA Cup defeat at Arsenal ended our cup run, but from there, the response was perfect. A 3-1 away win at West Ham, a 3-1 victory over Leeds, and a 2-1 win at home to Spurs made it near flawless month. Arias and Krankar were both outstanding, and Wolves moved back into third place, one hand on Champions League qualification. Final month of the season was all about finishing the job. We beat Sunderland 2-0, edged Brighton 1-0 and won a goalfest 3-2 over Fulham at Molineux. A final day 0-0 draw with Burnley sealed the deal. Third place in the Premier League behind only Liverpool and Arsenal. Champions League football is coming to Molineux. And that brings us to the end of our first season in charge of Wolves. What a journey it has been, from a team expected to finish mid-table to a genuine Premier League powerhouse, finishing third, securing Champions League football at the first time of asking. Let's take a look at some of our standout performers. John Arias was sensational, 20 goals and 12 assists across 40 appearances. He was our creative spark all season long, finishing as one of the Premier League's top goal scorers, joint second behind Haaland. Jurgen Strand-Larsen also stepped up with 18 goals, proving to be a consistent and reliable presence up front. Hang Lee Chan chipped in with 15 goals and 13 assists, his best season yet, and a constant threat from the wide areas. In midfield, Matthias Crankard, I'm not pronouncing that right, definitely not, made an instant impact after joining in January. 6 goals and 4 assists in just 16 games, showing he's going to be a huge part of this rebuild moving forward. And let's not forget Totti, our rock at the back, 40 appearances, countless key interventions, and part of one of the most improved defences in the league. When it comes to league-wide recognition, our boys really stood out. Arias finished in the Premier League Golden Boot race with 20 goals, right up there with Victor Gyökeres and Erling Haaland. Jurgen Strand-Larsen wasn't far behind with 17, and Hang Lee Chan added 14, meaning Wolves have 3 players in the league's top 12 goal scorers. And at the other end, Sam Johnstone kept 10 clean sheets, putting him 7th overall in the Premier League clean sheet table. Not bad for a side that started the year just hoping to survive. In the competitions, we massively overachieved. In the Premier League, a 3rd place finish, just behind Arsenal and Liverpool, and 74 points on the board. In the FA Cup, we reached the quarter-finals before being knocked out by Arsenal, and in the Carabao Cup, we went out early in the 2nd round to Sheffield United. But overall, it's been a massive step forward. We've laid the foundations of a squad that can compete at the very top. The board have clearly noticed our progress, but they're still keeping us realistic. We've been handed a 29 million transfer budget, which means player sales are going to be crucial this summer if we want to strengthen for Europe. With Champions League football coming to Molineux, we need more depth, more quality, and a squad that can handle the extra fixtures. So that's season 1 of the Wolves rebuild complete, and what a start it's been. From underdogs to Europe's elite, we've completely flipped the expectations around this club. Next episode, we'll dive into the summer transfer window, who stays, who goes, and how we shape this squad for Champions League football. If you enjoyed your season, drop a like, subscribe, and get ready for season 2 of the Wolves rebuild, because this is just the beginning.